Hey guys, welcome back to the Breaking.Bread.Podcast. We're back with another episode of Chat Time of the Month, which is episode 3. But before we get into that, we'll roll the intro.
Put that on that beat. Nope.
Yeah, like I said, we're back for episode 3 of Chat Time of the Month. My name is Brody, and I got my two handsome mates here.
Freedom. And my name is Francis.
And we've come back with more topics for you to chat about. But before we get into that, start off with our new ritual, new routine of so we got one chicken. We got our chickens, and you're gonna change it up this week with one highlight of the week. So, Sis, chickens, how are you, my brother?
Chicken. Yeah, check. Actually, just quickly, I'm actually liking this feel of the just chilling with the microphone in the hand.
Yeah, nice little change up there.
Shout out to
You're
B-Dog.
welcome.
No, but chickens have been good. To be honest with you, yeah, there has been some stuff that's been going on, but ultimately and overall, been feeling very good. It was good to have these two. Went and caught up with them again, like we always do during the week. Have a little chat at Shisha. Shout out to Jans for hosting and inviting us over.
Any sponsors?
Yeah, any sponsors by now, surely.
Shit.
Oh, it's gone up if that's not a sign for sponsors. But grateful for these two. Obviously, had a few things going on since the last episode that we had. Just personal stuff. But again, it's just refreshing, and it's cool to have people where you can just unload whatever it is going on, and these two are those people. Just thankful and grateful that family, friends, and everyone is healthy and well. And like I said, went for a little bit of a patch, but again, it's only a little bump in the road. So again, grateful for these two to be able to unload. Yeah.
Free chickens, how are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Definitely, I've lost a little bit of weight since the last.
If you can't tell.
Yeah. So feeling physically, I'm feeling a little bit better. Joints are thanking me. Starting to smile internally when I look in the mirror. Especially with summer coming up, Emotionally and mentally, similar to Sis, actually had some stuff going on, and I was really grateful to talk about those things with you guys. Main thing, in terms of transparency, maybe there's people watching or listening that are going through the same thing. I'm in a situation where, starting to question whether I'm enjoying what I'm doing for work, starting to question, we all make our own plans, but what is God's plans for me? How can I be proactive, whilst also not trying to do it on my own? So having these two and my brother Jordan the last couple of weeks to kind of dissect and dive into those things with has been a bit of a positive. But yeah, just if anybody is going through just a situation where, they may be stuck in their job or starting to feel a little bit empty, I just definitely want to encourage you to not isolate yourself like I have done in the past, and really lean into your loved ones if that's a safe space for you. Because I think these guys felt it. I was starting to get a little bit distant for a week and a half or so, and then after like a 20-30 minute conversation, I felt way better, and I felt like instead of feeling like it was a burden to tell them about it or to like put it on their shoulders, they didn't make me feel like, I was bringing down the vibe. They were really supportive, and upon reflection, I'm really grateful that I have friends like that. So let's go.
Yo.
Nice.
You?
I've been good. Everything in life, especially over the last couple of weeks, has been going pretty good. Happy with work, in the workspace, and then obviously with my physical health being here at the gym at Bosford, and then obviously we got our little running blocks that we do with a little community that we've gathered around. It's been pretty good. So been spending time with my kids, which has obviously filled my cup up. So overall, I'm pretty happy, and riding that good wave at the moment. So no, it's good. We'll carry on. A highlight of your week and one grateful.
Yep. Me first?
Yep, you go first.
Yeah. Also, just quickly, just before we carry on, like we have always said, like we're going to be transparent with how we feel and what we go through. Like, it's not going to be always, no, we're all good at all of this and that. And that's a cool thing. Like we said, it's a safe space. And again, like Broads is on a high, and me and Freedom have gone through some stuff. But as you can see, we're all here smiling because we've got one another. So, life's always not going to be red roses and stuff. But a highlight, Broads already just touched on it actually, was the running blocks that we started. For those of you that don't know, we started running blocks well before we actually put it out there. We were running with this guy because this guy was he was getting ready to leave for 7, so he started running blocks, and myself and Broads, I'd say we just tagged along and jumped in, and then when the brother left to go down the line, me and Broads just said we'll just carry it on. Again, was sick of looking at his face, and he was probably sick of looking at mine, so we came up with the idea of just posting it. We just said, why don't we just post it and see what happens. And man, to be honest with you, it's been not only a blessing, it's been something that's been like it's heartwarming to see like people actually turn up. It's not for the fact of us putting it out there, it's the fact that people actually wanting to be a part of something that we were just going to keep between just us two and when this guy came back. So it's pretty cool to see that there's a lot of people that have come, and the good thing about it is, bro, it's like from boys that actually play, girls that actually play, and like mums all the way down to like young kids that come and do it. It's not just like our teammates or our boys that are doing it. Everyone's doing it, which is pretty cool. And I know a few people that have hit us up and said that they're looking forward to coming to this week's one. So again, if anyone's out there that wants to move or is training by themselves or just wants to stay active, Tuesday, Thursday, we'll be running at Fowles Park on the top field. We start at 5:45, or we meet up at 5:45, and we try. Everyone just has a little chit chat in there, and then kick off around 6, and it's only for half an hour. So if you're free and you're wanting to do something, you're more than welcome to come. Again, all ages, all fitness levels, and just all goals, whatever it is. So that's been my highlight. And again, I'm grateful. I said it last time we had it for family, but again, like what my family and that are going through at the moment is something that I'm so blessed to have. Not for what's happening, but obviously for the support and love that we have for one another. So I'm grateful for my family again, and also used to. Again, like I said, just to unload what I've been going through, and like Freedom had touched on, like a 10-15 minute conversation with these guys had made me feel 100 times better, and made it feel like that I'm not alone with what I'm going through. So that's me. So
nice. Who's free?
Highlight and grateful. Similar to Sis and what we touched on just before. This Thursday evening was my highlight. I've been the last couple, just for context, the brothers and I here, we catch up regularly every Thursday. Like, if we have a busy week, we at least know we're going to see each other Thursdays, usually. But the last couple of weeks, just been kind of managing some things on my plate. And, when I don't, I'm not doing well, my trauma response, or like how I usually respond to that, is by isolating. So Thursday was the first time in a few weeks that I've been there, and it was good to feel a sense of normality in the chaos. That was definitely my highlight of the week. I just went home and slept better, woke up in a better mood, woke up better to move the next day with purpose at trainings, move with purpose at work. In terms of a grateful, it'd be definitely be these two. Just my brothers, including my brother Jordan. Been spending a bit more time with him lately, so just having brotherhood is something that I'm grateful for this episode. Birds?
Nice. Highlight. Obviously, probably spending this weekend with my kids and coming down and watching Jam a bit of Sevens, but of it, pretty much what Seth said on the running blocks that we've sort of been doing the last couple of weeks with people. It's been pretty like, I don't know, it's sort of when you're running and then you look around and then you just see heaps of people, it's like, I don't know, it's like a proud moment, like something you've that we've started, and then like just to see like not just the boys, like our group of boys. It's you got young kids there who are running around smiling, happy to be there. You got like you said, mums, boys that are in professional environments. Like a couple of boys that are in Warriors and in the Blues environment. So it's good to see. It's for everyone. No matter what fitness level you are, or what age you are, or whatever. It's just cool to see people enjoying it. And like Sis said, if you're around, come down, jump in. We cater to everyone. And you go to some dark places sometimes. I remember the first week, holy shit. We're just easing into it.
Exactly right.
I was dying.
But again, it's a you versus you mentality.
Yeah, hard. Exactly what you just said. But that was probably the highlight. Grateful. Probably grateful for my Uncle Joe. Probably someone who in our family we show we don't show we trouble to show love, I guess. And I guess that's the way of the old tough love sort of thing, and we struggle to show affection in that. But I'm definitely grateful for my uncle, what he's done for me over the last how many years, but not only for myself but to all my family. He's a role model in our family, and I definitely look up to him, and he's definitely been a good father figure in my life and what he does for me through my work and stuff like that. He's definitely someone I'm grateful for.
Good man. Shout out to Uncle Joe.
Yeah, shout out. Any days off? paid days off. But we'll get into it. Our 3 topics. So we'll hand it over to our bro Free, and he'll explain what we're going to talk about and stuff like that. So
Yeah, sweet. So our topics today are intergenerational trauma, which includes maybe having conversations about how we think it can be broken, even raise awareness around what it actually is. The second one is stereotypes and stigmas. I'm sure most people have experiences in their own lives with this topic. And then the last topic is talking about money. Why is it so hard? What are some of the things that we've experienced around that? So, we'll start off with intergenerational trauma. How we'll start it is what does those 2 words mean to you? What do you think it means? And then we'll go into maybe how experiences that we've had with it.
Yeah, sweet. All good. I'll get in there quick and early. Intergenerational, obviously, to me, intergenerational is something that's been happening throughout generations make it personal, like of family. It can be intergenerational of anything, really, but for me, it's like intergenerational trauma that obviously family members our family have gone through, whether it be great-grandparents that's been passed down to grandparents, that's been passed down to your parents, that's going through your life, and all of that stuff at the moment. So, that's what intergenerational trauma means to me. And what would we say? Like breaking it or discussing it like in depth? Want to discuss it in depth?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, personally, what can I say for me is that's personal in regards to intergenerational cycle. One thing, and I think it might lead to our last topic, is intergenerational cycle for me is something that we've gone through as a family. We ain't rich, and we have never been rich. But in saying that, we have never been like
poor,
dead poor. We've my parents have always put food and that on the table for me, like that. We've never had to go through anything where there was no food or anything in the cupboards. But for me personally, like going through that sort of thing is like, what is it? It's like being passed down that my family have gone through. One thing, again, like I said, we've never gone without, but that's something that's been passed down to me as a father now that I want to change in my family. I want to obviously try upskill and teach the next generation, which is my kids, that again, like being better with money. That's why I think it's gonna fold into the next one. Again, when my grandparents came to New Zealand for a better life from Samoa, this is my mum's parents and my dad's parents as well. My dad's mum's from up north and my dad's from Tonga. So when our families came from the islands for a better life, I think back then working was just to get by. So everything that they done was like, if they made food, they made it in bulk so that it can go for longer. And it wasn't for like just a day-to-day thing. It was they worked and they lived by their means of just getting by each and every day, which was then passed down to my parents. And my parents were parents who, like, my parents split up when I was young. So I came back with my mum, and my dad was always in my life. And my mum and dad were never the richest, but again, like I said, I never went without. But my mum and dad done the best that they could, providing for me from both circumstances that showed, or that gave me the opportunity to obviously be in the position, or be raised in the position that I was raised in regards to going through my childhood and becoming a parent myself. And something that I want to change in my family and break that cycle is being better with money. Again, it's hard to be better with money when you live in a country like New Zealand. So for me personally, I just want to make sure that, like I can do things for my kids that if I was to ever leave this earth, that they have, I wouldn't say a head start, but they got a better opportunity of becoming more successful in their lives growing up, and hopefully I can change that for them to then change it for their kids, and so on and so on. So yeah, I will say that for me, yeah, money, and just how we deal with money and how we treat money is something that has been passed down through my family. That's something I want to change, and I'm still in the process, obviously. I'm not the richest person.
Rich in levels. Rich in love.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I'm grateful and thankful for everything that I have and every experience that I've experienced in life. So, yeah.
Were you ever like taught from a young age, like when you started working, like make sure you save, work hard to, like stuff like that?
I think I was taught that through school. Like your parents and that say it here and there, like save that for another time or whatever. But I think that mentality of saving came from lessons through school. So I don't think that was something that was ever taught to me through my parents, like save for a purpose. It was just more something that you were just told at school to do, or something that was just thrown around through like conversations with other people, like save for this and save for that. But it was never actually like something that we were forced to do, if that made sense. Yeah. So that was something for me.
I'll start off with what I think of when I hear those words: intergenerational trauma. The way that I think about it is families or people respond to traumas a specific way, and we all have different trauma responses, and we all have different ways of dealing with things. And often we judge each other on the ways that we deal with things. But sometimes when the way we respond or the way we heal remains, I don't want to say unsolved, but that's the best word I have for it, unsolved, or doesn't get looked at, behaviors become normalized and they get passed down through the generations. I want to be careful here. Some of these are sensitive and we want to explore transparency, but like one is like the normality of abuse, domestic abuse in certain families. Like from the outside looking in, if that's something that has always been wrong or always you've never experienced it, if you look into a family that has abuse that's so normal, you would see that as crazy, but to them it might not seem as crazy. So I think to me what intergenerational trauma means is the way that families have subconsciously respond to situations and how normalized some trauma responses are. That's kind of the way I think about it. Now, do I know if I'm right? I don't know. Not really. That's what I think, and I could be wrong. A personal experience of mine is related to the church. So I grew up a pastor's kid, or a minister's son, and what that means is, I guess, the community looks to ministers for guidance, for hope, for direction. And often when you look to leaders, I think you place unrealistic expectations on them and their families.
Yes.
They must know everything. They must be super holy. They must do these things right. They must not struggle. They must never commit sin. But the reality is like for me, growing up with those expectations on me, I used to feel like every question I got, every conversation I had was a test. And so like I felt like I couldn't feel things. I felt like I couldn't ever just be a normal human. Like the fact that every time if I have a beer, I get looked at like, oh, you're a Christian though, right? Like, or the fact that, if I kiss someone or, if I talk about different things that I shouldn't be talking about it because of the occupation of my parents or because of what my beliefs are. I think that's intergenerational trauma, where the way that I deal with those things now, if I don't raise awareness or continue to choose growth and continue to understand why I do the things the way that I do them, I think that's how it perpetuates or keeps going forward to my children. And so church for me is a big one, because I've often fell into instead of making it about a relationship with God, I've made it about rules. I have to do this so that the church embraces me. I have to do this so that I feel like I'm going to heaven. And I think that that's a trauma response that I've had, where it's just so draining. It's draining to wake up and feel like I have to say the right thing or do the right thing at any given moment, and that I can't struggle with things. And I'm glad that we're talking about this, because this is something that I've only really become aware of in the last couple of years. And I haven't heard it talked about a lot, especially in New Zealand or with my friends. And so what a privilege for me to talk about this with you guys. I had a little bit of a bias putting that in the topics. So I'm glad that I can talk about this, because I'm searching for answers.
Yeah, I honestly don't ever reckon, just before you go on, I don't honestly ever reckon anyone would ever talk about it. Again, because like we were saying, there's not many people out there who, I've heard it so many times, when someone's the pastors or the minister's kids, like we expect, not me personally, but everyone expects, like what you just said, like they're perfect children and they got to do this, they got to do that, and then it's just what is it? It's like a thing that they have over their head. Just I don't know why. Like why is it something why is it something that we put out there?
And might I say, I failed miserably at that. I became rebellious. That was my trauma response. I became rebellious, and like I had to carry that that sense of shame actually.
Yeah.
All throughout my teenage years, I feel like I had to do doubly good to earn back the favor. So I don't know around the church. I just think it's because of the perception and stereotypes and stigmas, which we're going to talk about in the next topic. I think it's that. It's the perception of what it looks like versus what it actually is. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Yeah.
You, Mosul?
I think he's pretty much touched on the. He's definitely touched on the detail bit of it. There's my bit. They said it all for me. Personally, I think me and Sis talked about it. He talked about it before. Was having that. What is this again? Intergenerational trauma of like my real dad not being around and me having to go through that sort of trauma, and then me having kids and not wanting my own kids to go through that same trauma that I went through. I think I've said it in a few podcasts. I grew up not having my old man around. I was raised by my stepfather, and as a kid growing up, like it was hard, like you don't realize how hard it was until you get a bit older and you become a dad. But like sometimes growing up, like I used to question myself whether I was like, worthy enough of, like, why didn't my dad love me, or why can't, my dad come spend time with me. I grew up around all my family, all my cousins and that all had their dads, all my friends and that all had their dads, and it sort of felt like, I was the only one who, I guess, didn't have a dad. And I used to question, like I said, I used to question myself all the time. Like, why isn't he here? Why isn't he at this rugby game? Why isn't he at my 21st? Why isn't he at my 18th or 16th birthday? And when I found out I was having kids, bro, it was like, I went on like a big ass bender for like 7 days, but like, I was fresh 21, didn't know what to do, and it was easy for me to go, do I take the path of being like my dad and not being there because I'm so young, or do I man up and, you know, be that person that wasn't there for me? And I remember my cousin, Shayna, shout out to Shayna. I told her I was having kids, and she goes, she messaged me and she said, at least you know how to be a father. Oh, can't remember the exact words, but it was, at least you know how to be a father because you know what it's like to not have a father.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that hit because I was like, damn, shit. Like, and then she just said, like, we be present. And like, I've held that, like, since my kids were born, like, show up, be there. Because I knew what it was like not to have a dad. For me, it was breaking that cycle of being fatherless, I guess. And the situation, like, that me and my kid's mum are in, I think it's really important for me to, you know, show my kids, you know, that I love them and that I'm here and present. So, yeah, that's sort of my personal experience for
Good man.
the intergenerational trauma. Breaking down barriers.
Yo,
Fucking demolishing them.
Kicking the door
Yo.
in.
Fucking kicking the door and kick my old man's in. Nah.
Have you ever had a relationship with your old man?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah.
When I was younger, yeah, I did. But it was, bro, like, I would only see him like once a year, twice a year maybe.
Living in another country or?
Yeah, so he was living in Aussie,
Mm.
and then he moved. He's in the Cook Islands at the moment in Aitutaki. But like, it's real hard because I feel mostly sorry for because he's got kids like my younger siblings.
Yeah.
I remember last year, my stepmom and like they keep in contact with my stepmom, always messages and my siblings, but like I feel for them because they sort of look up to me and stuff like that, but I don't have that relationship with them because I have this thing against my old man.
Yeah.
You know, so they miss out on, I guess, having a big brother and stuff like that. But I seen my sister last year. She came back for Auckland because she was in hospital, and like, yeah, she was just like, I love you, I miss you, like, you know, you're our big brother, stuff like that. But
How did that make you feel?
Like for me, I felt like, I don't know, like, it made me sort of hate my old man even more.
Yeah.
Sort of way. Yeah, it made me hate him even more just because I feel like he's in the middle, and what's stopping me from going there is like him, because we don't have a relationship, and I don't know, I've just built up like so many things, I guess, like from events and things that have happened in my life where I'll probably never talk to him again.
That was going to be my next question. Like, would you ever seek a relationship with your old man again?
Nah, like, as much as people talk about forgiveness and like stuff like that, like, I never could.
Yeah.
I have a dad, which is my old man. You met him, and
He's the man.
that's my old man. And now I've got a lot of father figures in my life, but yeah, if they, I don't have time for, well, yes, my biological father. For me, it's like time is so precious, and if you can't give me the time when, you know,
when you needed it.
when I needed it, then why should I give you the time like now? And like there's been events in my life where I've expected like my kids being born. You know, my dad up north was there. You know, playing for the Warriors and stuff like that. My 21st birthday, you know, my 18th birthday, all that sort of stuff. So for me, I have my dad, and he's always been there. So yeah, if I'd ever see him, like talk to him or everything, nah.
I'm gonna pry a bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Do it.
Yeah, and bro, it's scary for me because I'm the kind of guy like I pride myself on reading. Oh well, emotional intelligence, reading the room, and everything in me is like, don't ask that. But I feel let's push the boat out, as they say. My question is, well, maybe a couple of follow-ups, but my question is, you answered my first one, which was like, you know, would you ever forgive him? And I can't say that I physically understand, but I actually hear the practicality and the I hear what you're saying. I see that, and I also just quickly want to pause actually and just honor yours because this we're talking about intergenerational trauma, but what you're actually talking about is breaking it, which is the next step. And as your friend, I just want to honor yours, and I actually get emotional about this because
I'm trying not to get emotional.
nah, yeah, but we got to, bro.
Yeah.
We got to.
I know.
Yeah, this is real family to me. I'm emotional because, you know, we all go through our own things, but I wholeheartedly believe that the answer to maybe not everything, but the answer to a lot of our issues is actually just coming together, despite our differences. And also here, I don't actually know if he's really had I don't know if life's actually presented him the opportunity to just take a moment, pause, and just go, man, I've actually been through a lot of things, and I've had to just, you know, life's maybe dealt me some interesting cards, and I haven't known how to play my hand at some times. But I just want to honor you because, first of all, you're an amazing guy, and Francis and I think I can speak on behalf of us. We invest in you because of how much you bless our lives. But, bro, I just think of your kids. You're trying not to perpetuate some of the things that you've felt as a kid and things that you've gone through, and I think that's special. I think that's more commendable than, you know, any accolade that you could ever achieve with sport or mahi in my eyes, because you get to now have the opportunity to raise kids who know their identity, and honestly, that's what I believe is the heart of kids who don't know their father, is that they don't know who they are because you know, there's no sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for your kids, and I just want to honor yours. And I love you, bro. You know, and when I think about Brody, I think, man, I'm proud of that guy because he's a good dad.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Anyway.
Thanks,
man,
my bro.
Love you,
Love you, my brother.
Sorry, the question. So, you answered my question around you don't see yourself forgiving him. But what I want to ask is, like, when anyone mentions your dad, when you think of your dad, like, is there anything in you that feels like a sense of rage or a sense of like, if that guy, or a sense where, like, for example, if you knew he was at a family event, would that completely change your willingness to want to go to that event or be around that event?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you desire to ever not feel that? Like, would you like to be able to live a life where you don't feel that anymore? Or do you think it fuels something in you? Do you think it motivates you? Do you think, like, do you see do you value it?
For me, it's like, maybe like over time I probably could. But for me, it's like how I feel about this situation is I've got my people, like the people that love me and then that have been there for me, like my whole life. And like I've got them here. He's over there. Like I couldn't let him come into the circle that's already built me and made me who I am today. Like, sort of thing. Like all my family and that, like, they've made me who I am. Like he was never there. you know, like, fuck.
It's all good.
Yeah, this is beautiful, bro. Might not feel beautiful, but this is beautiful.
So I got my family who, you know, made me who I am, and for someone like that's supposed to play a big part of my life, and was never there. It's like,
It hurts.
yeah, it hurts, but if I didn't need you then, I don't need you now, sort of thing. That's how I see it, and that's like, that's my hurt. Is if you weren't there for me in my
Back then?
back then and in my hard times where I needed you, don't be there now. Like, you know.
Yeah, I get you. Just quickly, would the effect of you forgiving your dad because you wanted a relationship with your brothers and sisters over there, or your siblings over there, like, would that ever play a factor in you forgiving your dad, just so you can have? Because, like you said, when you met when your sister was here for in Auckland before, and I asked you how you felt, like, you know, they missed that. Like, she said that she loved you. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the only thing that's stopping them and you having a full on relationship type of thing is obviously your old man. Yeah. Would the love that they have and the love that you have for them ever outweigh the fact of forgiving your father so that you can have that relationship, or would that, because of the relationship you have with your father, constantly be a burden to your relationship with your siblings?
Yeah, I think it'll always be a burden. Like, that's just being dead set straight honest.
Yep.
Like, my love for them will always be strong. Like, you know how it is with siblings. Like, whenever they need me, I'll be there. Well, if you're ever in trouble, I'll be there. But because they're so young too, like, I think my older sister's about like 16, I think.
Yeah.
My little brother's about like 12 or something like that. And then I got another one. I think, like, my love for them will always be 100, but that love will never be able to make me forgive, you know, him in a way. Yeah.
That's cool.
Holy fuck.
I just got one more. And it's not really a question. Also, it's actually more of an encouragement and just more of, this is my opinion, and you can take with it what you will. And, you know, at the end of the day, no matter what, still got you. But I think that the thing that springs to mind for me is, like, what I hear and what I see is that you associate forgiveness with just like letting your old man back in your life, to the same degree that the people who have been there for you, get those privileges that they get around you being a part of their lives. But what I want to encourage is, this is not a very tangible thing to talk about. So often when we talk about things like these, people want outcomes. People want to be able to say, oh, well, how will I know? You know, how will I know when the fruits of this will show? But what I want to encourage you also, maybe just journey with you on and have you reflect on, is I think there's a way to forgive people and actually have really good boundaries also. And what I mean by that is the most forgiveness is, in my opinion, a gift, because it gives you this, and I can only say this because I've had to, in no way, shape or form am I trying to say that I know what you're going through, because I don't. But how forgiveness has enhanced my life is, and it's ironic that my name's Freedom, but it's allowed me to actually become free from any chains that I have to people.
Yeah.
Something that you guys have really encouraged me on that you don't actually know, is I used to not want to go to training or an aftermatch if I just didn't want to be around certain people.
Yeah.
And once I accept, I've learned that around forgiveness, specifically if someone's done me wrong, excuse me, once I accept the situation and maybe not forgive them, but more acceptance, I found that they no longer have any say or any control of the way that I live my life.
Hard.
And so what I want to encourage you on also is actually, instead of seeing it as, forgiving my old man means that I let him win and I condone his behavior. What I'm actually saying is, forgiving your old man allows your life to be enhanced, because you can then Bro, weight's off your shoulders. You know that if your dad's your old man's at an event, it's not about being the bigger man, but you can say to yourself, Father, I forgive you, to the point where I just know that you can't have any control over my moods, any control over the way I'm going to father.
Yeah.
I need some water. Any control over, thank you, any control over how I love my siblings. And I just want to encourage you on that, because I hear you and I see you, and I want the best for you, bro.
Straight.
Genuinely. But that's not a question. That's just throwing it out in the air.
While you're throwing it out in the air, and I'll just right off the back of that is like you can forgive, like what Freedom was saying, like forgiving someone doesn't mean you have to hang out with them or fully let them into your life type of thing. Again, for me, how I see forgiveness, like forgiveness is a way, like, again, to cut those chains, because like you said, if he was at something that you wanted to go to, but you knew he was there, he now has control over you because he's there and you got emotions against him. So for me, like you said, it's not like at this time and point in your life, you probably don't want to forgive him. But again, later down the track, like you said, it might come to a point where that is a thing. And I just want to, right off the back of what Freedom was saying, like, I'm proud of you for not only trying to change that for your kids, and I sometimes forget, like you're like 1 year younger than me.
Put a zero on it. Put a zero on it.
Like you're double digits younger than me. Like and I sometimes I forget that. Just because of, like, you know, how we always hang out, like all of us, and I sometimes forget, like, you know, that some of the decisions that I make are because I've had more experience in life. And then I look back and I'll be like, man, I got to remember, like, when I was 10, this guy wasn't even born. You do the math.
I was 10 and you were in nightclubs.
So, like, that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? But like we said, like, both of us are proud of you, especially for, like, seeing you yesterday with your kids.
Yeah, bro, that was special for me, man, because that was the first time, really.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him anyway, sorry.
Nah, and it was cool. Like, you know, like, when I see them, like, you know, just treat them like my own. And it was cool to see you, again, be a dad and, again, be there for them, because like we were saying, like, you could have went the easy way and said, actually, I don't want anything to do with them. And they could have been without a father. There's two of them without a father. So now I give it up to you for stepping up and taking ownership of your actions and taking care of your responsibilities, my brother.
Thanks, my brothers. Love yous, man. Love yous.
Holy, we are.
Hey, just real quickly before we move on, all three of us have cried on a podcast now.
I was like, nah, don't cry.
Trying to hold it.
I'm trying to hold it.
His eyes kept getting watery.
Bro, I was even trying to, like, I could see in the corner of his eye because of the angle I'm sitting. I was like, and then I would look away out of respect. I was like, please cry, please.
I was holding on to that too, going deep in without crying on the podcast. Shit.
Bro, that's so beautiful to me, bro.
Straight up, that was mean.
Yo, hard. That filled my cup, even though it's such a heavy topic. Yep. Anyway, mouthfuls. Next topic, stereotypes and stigmas.
Hey,
Stereotypes and stigmas. What do you reckon?
let me ask you this question.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, especially, like, you know how Christians.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll bring this thing up about
And Brody
Christians.
could probably.
Yeah, all of us. We can all speak on it. Like, why do we all have this thing that if you're a Christian, say for example, if we're seen as going to church and we, you know, say we follow the Lord and all of that stuff, that all of a sudden we get that same thing put over us, like as a minister's child, like we have to be perfect. You can't drink, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like what what is that? Like, what is that as a thing? Like, why do we just assume that? And another thing is, we assume that they never sin. We assume that they're always doing the right thing. We assume that they never have any downside, like, you know, they're never angry or any of this stuff. But, like, we've spoken about it before, like, being a Christian is, like, the hardest thing probably possible, like, in regards to trying your best to live a straight and narrow life. But again, it's not always. There's no one perfect. If like they were always told.
My short answer to that, bro, is I actually have this like internal belief at the moment that it's tall poppy syndrome. And what I mean by that is I think the easiest thing in life to do, instead of looking at, if you sit on your bed and genuinely ask what things are ruining my life, I guarantee you it's far easier to look at someone else and tell them how they're ruining their life than for me to sit on my own bed and do that internally.
Yeah.
So I just believe that
that's facts.
when I say tall poppy syndrome, I feel like we have this way of wanting to pull other people down so that we feel better. Like a joke that I constantly hear in the clubs when I do go out is like, you know, hey, we'll bender and then go to church straight away in the same clothes. You know how we like always joke about that? Like, for me, the fact that that's a joke, but those same people are the very ones mocking each other about actually being in the clubs in the first place. I feel like that's kind of the whole, how it aligns with Tall Poppy. And I think that what's beautiful about the intergenerational talk is some of that is actually a trauma response, and it's subconscious. We might not be aware that it's, you know, maybe it's stemming from a place of guilt. But that's my belief. And I feel that way after reflecting on what do I do? How do I feel when I'm actually judging someone else? Like the Christian Prescott thing. And what it's been about is, instead of having to look inward and do something about some of the things that I'm not at peace with, I'd instead choose to look outward so that I then feel better automatically. That's my opinion. Anyway.
What about you, big dog?
Does what I said make sense?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
understand.
Sweet.
I don't know, sort of what Free said, but like the way I look at it is like, it is that tall puppy syndrome. But I think because people see, like, from an outsider, like people who aren't Christian and people that look in, I think because they see, like, obviously Christians preaching like what's in the Bible and preaching what they do, when they see like the littlest thing that's a sin or something like that, bam, you know, like it's quick to judge. But I think it's because like I think it's the way, because like how people portray Christians. Obviously, like being holy and
Let's put it like this: most of the people that are actually saying, like, "Oh, you drink, you do this and that,"
we're past Christians.
we're Christians.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, you know, but obviously they probably don't go to church or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about our island culture. Most of us, pretty much everyone of us, all come from church, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, as an island culture and Maori culture, like, church is massive. Like, religion is massive in our cultures. And I can guarantee you that everyone has been through a church in some stage in their life. Obviously, they might not be in that place at the moment, right now and then, or like then and now. But again, like, you know what I mean? It's like they should know that, like, being a Christian is not about being perfect. And like, that's just something that always buzzes me out. Like, just like a stigma, or like we always class a stereotype of a Christian as like, you got to be like straight and narrow. You got to be perfect every single time. And like you were saying, like as a child of a minister, like, I could only imagine that's 10 times, 100 times, like you're under 100 times the microscope, because obviously like that's your household. If I can just quickly ask, what's a stereotype or stigma that you've experienced for yourself personally, besides the minister?
When I work actually, and you know, funny enough, I think I found a way to like survive this, because it's not along the lines of racism, but like things like that, when they become so normalized that you're like a little bit numb to them, or you've learned how to survive in them. It can be hard to.
What was it?
So I work in professional services accounting, and when I first had my internship at Deloitte, which is a massive, competes at the top of the global game. It's a massive professional services firm. Not many brown people there. And I had an internship with them in 2019, 2020, something like that. And it was only over the summer. But I gave a speech. And something that I pride myself on is at least like trying to articulate my words. And the feedback that I got, like, it was crazy because I think the person that told me this feedback, they actually meant well.
Yeah.
They actually meant well.
Yeah.
But they told me that I was intelligent for a rugby player.
Sure.
And at the time, you can imagine at the time, like, I was like, hey, stuff you. Like, who do you think you are?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I was like, bro, you don't know me. Like those ones.
Yeah.
And then, but funny enough, actually, in my inductions for the internship, there was this lady that came in and she was like a self-help coach, I think. And she taught me a new style of communication, which I've spoken about in another speech that I've done. And it's this idea of informing without accusing. And so what I did was I actually took that lady's advice. I don't know why I remembered it in the moment. I think maybe that was God passing me a little bit of like a, hey, keep your cool, brother. We want you to have this job, remember? We don't want you to be fired on the first week. But pretty much I was like, hey, I don't know if you're aware, but I just want to let you know that when you said that, it made me feel this way. Instead of saying, you're attacking me or like you're a dick because you said that, I was just saying, hey, look, bro, what you said made me feel this way. Like, is this what you meant? That's what I mean by informing, rather than saying, why would you say that? And bro, the response that this person gave me was actually like, oh, damn, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. Thank you for educating me. And so I take my hat off to that person.
That's cool.
But what's crazy is like, bro, that could have been a really bad situation if I think about it. If I reacted it to the way that
You wanted to?
I wanted to, like I probably would have been fired. I don't think I'd still have a job, guys. And that was years ago. So yeah, that would be one. And because I'm a rugby player and a Christian, and like I'm not perfect, but like another one is like when I am romantically involved with someone, I only have it in me to talk to one person at a time. But like there's lots of stereotypes and stigmas about rugby players. That they're like players or they're womanizers.
Oh, 100%.
That like, you know, they're unintelligent, that they don't have emotions. Even though, you know, a lot of things in our game are maybe a bit toxic around the masculinity things, not talking about our feelings. But I'd like to think that all three of us are rugby players. We're talking on here about vulnerability, about things. So I feel like instead of maybe complaining about the stereotypes, what I'm trying to do is now break them. And that's what I'm also proud of you guys in the same sense around the whole fatherhood thing is I feel like you guys outside of us three together are actually doing your own things to try break the ones that are in your lives.
What about you, Big Dog? Any
personal
stereotypes or stigmas that you've been, wouldn't say accused of, but experienced?
Nothing that like springs to mind. Like nothing. Like I've been thinking of trying one, but like.
What about if I say this to you? When people always say, "What are you gonna do?" Like you're just a dumb boy from up north. That's a stereotype there. How does that make you feel? And like, why do you think that they say that?
Because I am a dumb boy. I'm a dumb boy from up north. Nah, like I just laugh. Like obviously it hurts a bit, but like I'm the type that like fuck you. Like I don't give a fuck what you say. But like there's obviously a stereotype like of like boys from up north like being
Hoary or something.
Troubled, hoary, never make it out, you know, and like I've had to I guess go through that like since living in Auckland. Where were you from? Up north, Kaitaia or Freitaia, you know, like there's this thing around like boys from up north like just being troubled, but like another one, like obviously being Māori. Do you know how to talk Māori?
Oh, bro, that can go for this.
Can you call it on what I?
Can go for one.
Nah, like I can't. Why not? You know, like, you plastic. You know, all that stuff, and it like makes you like for me, I've had it like a few times, and it's sort of like it makes you feel like ashamed, like that you. I could imagine it with you being islander,
Yeah.
like that stereotype of, oh, you're Māori or you're Samoan,
Yeah.
why don't you know how to speak?
Yeah.
Been through that, like that. I'm easy, like I just brush shit. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Oh fuck, what else is there? Being from Kaitaia. Like obviously when you tell someone you're from Kaitaia, oh, that's where all the fry heads are, right? Like all the crackheads.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, it's not. It's actually a good town. You just look at the bad things. But like, bro, like we're all over the news. Like something comes up, bro, like in Kaitaia, bro, we just get tarnished. They all over the news, all over, like all over social media. Like, bro, like crack, all that stuff. Like it's run down. It's #1 crack town in New Zealand. Shit like that. Like just out here representing my community. Fucking KTA all day. 408. Fuck, I'll rep Kaitaia till the day I die. Even though I live in Auckland. But nah. Yeah, like nothing that sort of comes to mind, like being like within. I've never really experienced anything bad. Like I probably have, but it just doesn't come to mind or stand out to me. But yeah, probably just those like sort of couple that I touched on.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I've had a couple, I've had, obviously, people know that I've got tattoos. I've spoken to you about it as well. People, know that I've got a lot of tattoos and get classed as a gang member or like a naughty person type of thing, or like a bad person.
I'll say something. Like I know a person. We all know who this person is, but they said when they first seen him, oh, I thought like, you were like a bad dude, like a gang member, but you're actually like a really nice guy.
See?
Like
that's one common one I always get. Obviously, living in Central, and we have, obviously the landscape of Pacific Islanders has changed, and it's more predominantly European in Central. And so just walking around, especially going into like, I've been into a few shops here and there a while ago, and just automatically getting judged, you know what I mean? Like just first appearance, they'll be like, what's he doing? Walking around the shop and this and that. And I've had quite a few experiences just being a Pacific Islander, living in Central, and having a lot of tattoos. So that's one that I've experienced a hell of a lot. And to be honest with you, living in Central, bro, we were here before you Europeans. So I don't know why you're looking at us like we're the minority. Yeah, we were here way before your asses, man.
Get back on your waka.
And you guys upped the rent and upped the inflation and kicked our people out, man. Shit. But nah, that's one stigma I have. Not all people that have tattoos are bad people. Yeah. Bro, actually,
be some of the nicest people you ever meet.
Exactly right. Like, there's some people out there that don't have tattoos that are worse, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But like I was saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Is one thing I've always said. Like, just because I have tattoos, just because I ride, I've ridden like a bike before. Just because of the clothes I wear sometimes, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I'm a gang member. It doesn't mean a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm this or that. Like, at the end of the day, like, you boys know who I am. Like, my family knows who I am. Like, and I couldn't care less what they think, to be honest with you. But like, for other people out there, like, that go through it, that don't have the mindset that we have, is like, fuck you. Like, I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
It's more of the mindset that, like, that it puts them into a shell or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, like, not all of those people are bad people. You know what I mean? So get to know them before you even you shouldn't even judge them anyway, but get to know them first. I've known some gang members or things that are nicer people than people that go to church. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like it's again getting to know the person first before anything. And another one that I've got, or well, my wife got hit up was because of, you know how you being the captain, like you gotta speak after games, and it's always on the camera. And I was getting interviewed after the game, and just speaking how I normally speak. Someone had told my wife, "Oh, your husband speaks well," and my wife was like, "What do you mean? Like, well, what do you expect?" And I think the picture that my wife got painted was like, you know, he's a brown person, and it was an islander was thinking like one word answers. Like,
Thank you for the good game.
not English, you fool.
Thank you for the good game.
They were just expecting like, like, what did you think of the game? It was like, oh yeah, the game was good. Like, you know, that sort of
It was
response.
a tough game.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, it was all good. Like just like
Cliche
short
ones,
answers.
eh?
Yeah, and so when I was like giving like answers that, you know, like just genuinely speaking and elaborating.
Yeah.
You know what elaborate?
Yeah.
Spell it.
I can't. But yeah, just stuff like that. Like, you know, I just just getting stereotyped for the way we look, and people don't even know who we are or like what we do as people.
Say one thing too, like this guy's tatted up to the days, but you hear people like when they actually talk to him and they say like he's the nicest guy you ever like meet or talk to, and that is true. You can have not with just him, like it is him as well, but you sit down with, like I say, this guy, and you could say gang members and stuff like that. You sit down with them for 10 minutes and talk to them. You'll probably love them more than you love, you know, like European people. And I could vouch for this guy too. Vouch for this guy. He's he'll be the nicest person you ever meet.
Amen.
Speaks very well. I had my old lady say that too when she was watching one of the games. Oh, he speaks so well, eh? Stereotyped him. Mum.
Oh, you didn't think I could speak well? But yeah, hey, that's one thing I think need to stop. Like, it's not saying that like I do it sometimes too. Like, you know, you just see people and you like, it's a thought that literally comes to my mind, and it's been like, then I just snap out of it like, bro, like I didn't even know. You know what I mean? So I guess like stereotyping and stigmas for people, like, you know, it's something that needs to, what do you say, stop?
But like what you said before, it's sort of like tall puppy syndrome. I guess stereotyping people.
Yeah, it's like also on the whole like stop thing. I think it can be real hard if something's in your habits and you've just been doing it. It's all you know.
Yeah.
Like it's actually real hard to even know it's a problem.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes I laugh at like the fact that like the people sometimes who like mock us the most are our own.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so like even that's like another one I could talk about is like being light skinned.
Yeah.
Or like being called plastic because I don't speak Tongan, or like another one is the same as what you said, because I'm also Maori, like not knowing where I come from is like a oh yeah, you're not one of us then. But it's just that'd be essentially like your own family coming up to the dinner table, all of you together, and someone going, nah, not you, you get over there. So like it's just kind of sad. But yeah, if you don't know something is wrong, like the first thing to do, in my opinion, is this stuff. It's just like, you can laugh about it. Notice how we're like joking about it. We've cried, we've laughed, we've joked. There's ways to go about the delivery, but you can't stop something until you know it's something needs to change. And I think that's probably what is the most beautiful thing about these podcasts, is actually instead of trying to be like the solution-based thinking, it's actually just
sparking.
Sparking conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, on that note, sorry, I have another thing. I'm rambling today. We on.
Go.
One thing that I have been thinking about as well is like this idea of labeling behaviors as masculine and feminine.
Give us an example.
So the idea that like if a guy cries or is emotional, he's described as feminine.
Oh yeah.
Or if a female goes to the gym and is muscular, that she's called masculine.
Or manly.
Yeah. I just think that's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Because, you know, if you like, good for you. If you want to go to the gym and get muscly, like that's just being human, not feminine or masculine. It's just, so that's something that I also want to maybe just sprinkle out in the air. Sprinkle out in the air. I think maybe we need to get better at that.
Yeah.
At the same time, take that with a grain of salt, because sometimes the best way to actually talk to people is mocking them
Yeah.
and joking about them, and it's up to your guys' discretion. But that's something that I also thought about.
That's another one that we were just saying, like when you were saying men crying.
Yeah.
Another stigma that we have, and that's massive for for men as well, is it's weak for us to speak about our emotions.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like our mental health, like how that stigma out there is like you're meant to be tough and manly, and you can never speak about like your emotions. But we're like we were saying, like it ain't weak to speak. And people that do speak about the emotions doesn't mean you are weak. You know what I mean? People that express their emotions, especially to their boys or family members or whatever, like it's doesn't make you less manly than the person next to you. To be honest with you, if you and the person next to you are going through the exact same thing, but you speak about your emotions, I guarantee you'll be better off than the person next to you.
100.
So I think that's another thing that we must again learn to change. Learn to change is it is not weak to speak. Like you sometimes speaking to people outside your circle is easier than speaking to people inside your circle, because again, depending on your circle, sometimes you might feel like you're being judged.
Yeah.
But you find more comfort talking to someone random, someone that you may not be close with, to express your feelings and emotions. But again, it doesn't make you any less masculine than the man, than any other man. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That's all I wanted to say in regards to that stereotype that we have over speaking about emotions or speaking about our feelings as weak.
Nice.
Yeah, there's me. Bro, I'm loving this one. Holy.
Hey, we're leveling up.
Yeah, we are. Together as well. How good.
Yeah.
Last one is talking about money. Why is it so hard, especially for our people? Why is it so hard in New Zealand? Why do we feel like it's so hard amongst us brothers? Why do we feel like talking about money is taboo?
There you go, my man.
So
we don't get the no, you guys are really good.
That's what I was gonna go. Why don't we talk about money?
Or why is talking about money like
so hard?
Yeah, so hard.
Because I think it's like tall puppy syndrome. We compare, and money's like such a like powerful thing, like money. And when a lot of people like jokingly, oh, how much money you on? It's like, and then you often people lie about how much money they're on because they're too ashamed to like, they're too ashamed to like, be, I guess, lower than the person that's asking, I guess, in a way. Like I know of people, or like uncles, being like, oh yeah, like I'm working over in Aussie, I'm on $40 an hour, and then come back to Kaitai and oh, you got the BSE, like people compare like what you're on, how much money you're making, what you have, assets and stuff like that. Like if you got a boat, oh, you got heaps of money. You got a jet ski or a nice car, you got heaps of money. Little do you know, if this cunt's probably in like 50k debt or something like that. Oh, we just bought a house, stuff like that. But yeah, I think if you make less, I think people like feel ashamed.
What's that thing that we had said, like, is it a value?
Are you talking about like our sense of value as a person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that? Like because of like what you earn, it puts a value
on yourself.
Yeah. So you think like if I only earn X amount of dollars, which is less than what I know you're on, like type of thing, is like, does that make that like person feel less valuable?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I reckon. Do you reckon that?
That's what I reckon. That's why I think it's so hard to talk about money for people. Firstly, because I think we compare ourselves to others by our worth of our value of money, of what we earn, or what money we have, if that makes sense. Like, say for example, someone that doesn't earn doesn't earn as much money as another person. They and they know that, and then that other person that they know asks them, "Oh, how much are you on?" Like, it's like I don't want to tell you because I don't want to feel like because you earn more, you're better.
Yeah.
Did we say that comparison? What did Wildred say? Comparison is the
thief of all joy.
thief of joy.
But I think it's like that struggle bit too. Like you see families struggling, and then they get asked how much you want, blah, about money, but other people don't know they're struggling, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get you. Well, we'll let you go because you will go into like a
deeper
meaningful of it, and then we'll be able to like
smart.
I don't know. It'd be funny if someone messaged in like, "Bro, Freedom doesn't know what he's talking about."
Dumb it down for us.
Nah. Bro, like my opinion is that, like money just cuts to the root of self-worth. And this is another interesting topic. Is like I hand on heart say that like if I get married and my partner earns, I'm a professional athlete, but my partner earns like way more than me. Like I hand on heart, and it's taken a while to get here. I hand on heart could say like, "Babe, if you're happy and this is the best option for us, I'll stay home. I'll quit my job and look after the kids." Because
fucking oath.
But I feel like there's a lot of money is such a hard topic to talk about because there's a lot of different sections here. There's root of self-worth. A lot of people feel that their job doesn't accurately reflect how much value they bring to their workplace.
Yeah.
And because of that disparity, I think that's why people lie. There's like a level of like shame where they don't feel like they feel shame. And so I think that's one, root of self-worth. I think and a lot of it is also tall poppy. You don't want to say how much you're on, truthfully sometimes, because you might know that you're on more than your mate.
Yeah.
Like we don't often think about that side. And then vice versa, you might lie because you feel like if you don't say a certain number, your mate's gonna mock you. So there's tall poppy. Then there's relationships. Like this one's a bit niche, but some men that I've talked to about struggling to provide for their families don't feel like they have a relationship with enough emotional intelligence to actually be able to say, "Hey, I'm struggling with money and I need your help," because the reality is their role in their family is to provide.
Yeah.
So talking about it, why is talking about money so hard? It might be the fact that you actually just feel like you can't to the specific person in the situation. There is also, I think sometimes in certain cultures it's taboo.
That's what I was going to talk about.
There's like that. There's I don't condone. I genuinely feel strongly about this. The whole idea in church that how much you give, tithes, somehow correlates to your entry into heaven. I don't agree with that narrative. So you can see like my mind's racing. There's a lot of different areas. But the one that I've struggled with the most has probably been the self-worth thing. Is like when I was younger and like, going through my stuff, homeless and all that, like I didn't actually feel like I would ever earn enough. And when I made my Super Rugby debut, I had families being like, my cousins being like, "Okay, you're shut now." Yeah. And it's like, cousins, you actually don't know, but you earn more than me. Like, but the pressure of like, oh crap, like, these guys have put me on a pedestal, I got to live up to that. I think that's all a big part of it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different things we could talk about, but I think the one that I definitely want to kind of push forward and start to spark conversations around is, how does my job make me feel? How much I earn make me feel? Is it actually, does it bring up any insecurities I have that actually stem from a different area of my life? One for me around money is like, years and years ago when I was a young teenager, I didn't have a job. And I, hung out with a girl and it was like, I told her straight up, I was like, "Hey, I don't work. Like, can we just go do something free?" And the response was like, "Ooh, I don't want to hang out anymore." And whilst I appreciate it, honestly, I kind of cut because I was like, "Oh, does that mean that I have to earn money to be valued as a person?" Yeah. To be, And so I think men sometimes, and women, but I can only speak for men. Yeah. Go through experiences like that where it actually just like it starts to shift the way that you think, and you might not realize that it's and after years and years and years of thinking a certain way, behaving a certain way, you're just numb. Yeah, you're just numb to it, and that's kind of how I think about it. This is all opinion. This is all opinion. Let me say that. There's no facts here. Another buzzy fact that I find really interesting. I think the living wage or like the wage where you have to earn to kind of do okay is 80 grand. It's 80 grand? I can't remember the stat, but it was something like...
It was on like the morning shift. 90% of people
are not going to earn more than 90K.
That's crazy. And that means that 90% of people aren't actually doing okay. Yeah. Which is, it like blows my mind. So no wonder money's hard to talk about. We're all actually struggling.
I think it's 90% of New Zealand doesn't earn more
than 80K.
I think it's like 100.
Nah, I think it was 90.
Wow, yeah.
Or 80 to 100.
Bro, even to me, I'm trying to get to 80K, guys. Far out.
I'm just trying to survive out here. That's a cruel world.
Far out.
Luxon, you fag. Any pay rises, Lux?
Yeah, bro, keep that petrol price coming down, please.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Thank the heavens.
Petrol's about spent $200 just on petrol this weekend.
What, just to
go up north
there and back.
Oh,
what about
But hey, you can't put a price on kids.
Rental?
What
about rental prices? Like obviously,
my
two brothers here. You know, like what's like obviously when we talk about
we'll throw it out there. Anyone got a 2-bedroom place?
Yeah, actually, me and the bro are looking for a place.
We're looking for a place. 2-bedroom, preferably more central. Central.
Has to be central.
Let us know, please. Please. Low rent.
But for real, dude. Anyway,
that's on God.
We'll just sprinkle that out in the air and just manifest that.
Two lovable chaps.
Yeah. That's it.
Hey,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of that stuff. Like obviously, like about New Zealand not earning. Maybe everyone is struggling. Probably everyone is struggling.
Everyone is struggling.
Yeah, like like that's and that can be a true fact where obviously the price of petrol, the price of the cost of living is actually fucking high in this country.
And it leads to so many other things like that's why I think people go to Oz.
Yeah.
The fact that something as little as what is it? Fruit and veg in Oz is
Bro, it's so
what, no GST or whatever?
Yeah,
or
like when I came home, because I came home in the middle of the year, I was in Oz, bro. Like all the fruit, everything cheap as. Like meat was a little bit expensive, but you go to the butcher and it's cheap. Yeah. I came home, I was like, holy fuck, it is so expensive. Like over there, for the week I could probably do like $80 to $100.
Last year a whole week easy.
That's a week easy. You come here, fuck, $100 ain't, bro. $100 ain't shit.
Ain't tickling your left.
It's like $200 just for shopping.
That's like toilet paper, bro.
Oh, gee, eggs.
Yeah, like eggs are expensive.
There's no more fruity trees.
Eggs are expensive, man.
Just stuff like that in general. Like you can see obviously that there could be a viable reason why a lot of people don't talk about money,
bro. I'm like this has just come to mind. Mangoes over there were like $4. You can come here, it's like $11 to $16 a mango.
A mango.
See, that's nuts. But like Buzzy how
but
Buzzy how money actually leads to also other problems. If you're not earning above whatever that is, 80K, and you have to buy cheap food, then it leads to obesity, which then can lead to like poor lifestyle choices. It's like there's actually a domino effect, bro. So when I speak about like the whole self-worth thing, like if money's already one thing, and then you're looking in the mirror and you can only afford certain food that makes you look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, we could come up with all the excuses under the sun. All I'm trying to say is that money is it really does cut to the root of self-worth in it, and there's so many dominoes that it could make fall over as well.
Well, you got to think about like Polynesian families, like they're big. You get the big Polynesian families, and then in those families you get sort of big people, like and then you expect them to eat healthy. Yet
and it's
the price to eat healthy is so expensive. And then it's cheaper to, buy rubbish food that you can survive on.
That's one thing I'll never ever understand. Like they want people to eat healthy, right? Yeah. But they put the price of healthy eating, like they make it so expensive. Yeah. So like obviously they like it's done for a purpose. The government do this for a purpose, or whoever does it for a purpose. They make things that are easily accessible, that are not good for you, cheap. And this is no thing, but they put those places in amongst our people, if that makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is like wherever our people are, if say for example, if we were to go come to Central, you hardly ever see any bottle shops,
Yeah.
like actual bottle shops. They're called wine and beer.
Yeah.
True, actually.
Wine and beer stores. But how expensive are stuff in there?
True.
In Central.
Mm.
You drive out south.
South.
When you go out south, in nearly every block of shops, like there's a dairy. Next to the dairy, there's a bottle store.
Yep.
Bottle store.
Mm.
In near those two is takeaway.
Bakery.
Actually, yeah.
And a
I
bakery?
never thought about it like this.
Like it's I don't know.
That blows my mind.
It's and there's always things around there to affect our people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You go out and in Central, like there's maybe a few fast food stores, but that's only because there's the city. Like when you talk about like Macca's and all of that, you go
Yeah.
anywhere else out of here where majority of our Polynesian and Maori people are, bro, they're everywhere.
Oh.
And there's not only just the Macca's. Next to the Macca's, there's a Wendy's, there's a Carl's Jr., there's a all of this.
It's like when we work out south, or compared to where we work in like up north somewhere like those rich areas or even around. It's not hard to find smoker out south.
no.
Like you just drive around the corner, there's a bakery.
Yeah.
Drive around another corner, there's Chinese.
Yeah.
You know, it's everywhere.
And how cheap is it?
cheap?
It's cheap as shit.
Oh, it's cheaper to like I remember, like one time I went and brought dinner. I brought like steak. I went to Canada. I brought like steak, potatoes, stuff like that, stuff for dinner for myself. It was like $30 to $40. I was like, got to the counter, but the old pride to go like, nah. It took over, and I was like, bro, I could have went and brought takeaways for $20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? When you had bought all of that, you still had to go home and cook it.
Exactly, and I could have been eating right there. I was like,
That is hilarious. I feel like that's a weekly conversation I have with myself. Meal prep, really? This is $100,
bro.
and all the time I have to cook it, and I just
And I don't even like eating it.
Yeah.
Broccoli. Out. Wait, I got a question. Why is, like, back to money, why is it that when people buy a home, they're labeled as
Successful.
or rich? Why? Whoa.
Bro, all I want to say is if you can buy a home these
Good
days,
on
you
you.
are
Like,
successful.
if you could buy a home, like,
Bro,
good
you
on
must
you.
be the man.
Like, good on you. Fuck,
Holy.
kudos to you. But, like, why is it when people buy houses, they're labeled as successful or rich?
Because that's the perception that we've always been told.
That you've made it?
You've made it. But let's be honest.
Bro,
With the inflation going on and everything, bro, most people, I won't say most people, but some people are actually going in the opposite direction,
Yeah.
like losing their homes.
Yeah.
But that's the perception that's been put out there to us growing up, is that if you own a house, you've made it.
yeah.
Because I remember one of my aunties, one of my cousins brought a home. She goes, "Oh, your cousin's brought a home by himself. Why haven't you brought a home? Or why didn't you buy a home?" And I'm like, do I really want to be in debt my whole life? Do I really want to be paying off something till I'm 60?
Yeah.
No, thank you. I mean, it might come later on, but I couldn't think of anything worse than to be stuck paying something off
Yeah.
most of your life, really.
I don't know. I feel like it's funny that we're talking about it because, I feel like in the modern era it's a bit of a different mindset. But like this idea of like stability and like it's funny because when people buy houses, like you never know how much of the house they could actually buy with the first down payment.
Yeah.
Like essentially what we're saying is if you buy $1 million home and you
gotta
get
put
a down
20%.
payment of 200,000.
Yeah.
We're essentially saying you're successful because you've got 100,000 worth of debt. Like when you think about it like that, it's actually like, oh yeah, true.
This
wow,
laugh
right.
isn't like a dig either. It's just,
Nah, it's what I will say is like, bro, no wonder people buy houses and then get people in them though.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah.
Like get
And
other
then,
people
like,
to pay it.
Yeah, other people to pay. I mean, I can understand like that, but I think it actually stems from stability and the fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty, and I think houses are a practical solution to some of those anxieties.
Yo.
But it's still funny because we're all struggling.
Well, that's it. Like, it's not a laugh at like people that own houses or like that people that are going through stuff or anything like that. I think it's more of the fact that it's something that we're just laughing at I'm just laughing at the fact that like that's been something that's been instilled
Yeah.
instilled in us like since we were like young, growing through coming through like school and whatnot. It was always like save up and buy you a house, and then what else was after that? It was always buy a house. Like shout out to those people that have bought houses, you know what I mean? Especially those during this time, is a massive thing. But I can see on the other hand, like why people go all out to buy a house, especially if they're going to have a family. Obviously, because now they've got some stability to have and call that like their family home. Yeah. That type of thing. But I think for me personally, that was just something that I guess through school was always told, through like general chat was always like save up and buy a house. Yeah. Like, whether it be from parents, whether it be from elders, whatever it is, that was always like part of the chat. Just save your money so that you can buy a house. Save your money so you can do, whatever it is. But that's where I think that perception was given, was again was through growing up. Like if you bought a house, like you were successful. But again, like we had said, in regards to like a down payment, like you practically only own what you put in. Yeah. You don't actually own, the bank actually owns it. But the bank owns it. And that's not being cheeky or anything. That's just facts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also a body to me, like sometimes like when you're growing up with kids who have grown up in like a mortgage-free home, where like their families actually own the house. Yeah. I think it's actually also a body to me to understand like just how much it affects their daily psyche and like the way that they view things. I've had mates at school that like their parents were like millionaires overseas. Yeah. They've just bought a mansion for their kid to live in. But bro, it can actually be an extremely lonely, this is very niche. Yeah. But it can actually be like an extremely lonely time to also be that successful, to the point where you gotta, like, I had one of my mates in uni, didn't know this because I think maybe he had built up some malls, but bro, his father's multi-millionaire. And bro, when his father came to visit him, I didn't know this, he gets to see his old man twice a year. Shit. And also, bro, the old man was like thanking me for being his son's friend, because I guess on the flip side is maybe when you are successful, this whole being humble thing, or like this whole tall poppy syndrome, I guess you do feel like you kind of got to maybe hide it or whatever. And this might not be related, but that's what I'm thinking about as well. Is also a flip side. But all I want to say is, can you pray for us? Because holy, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to be able to get a house.
Buying houses. If you want to buy a house, buy a 2-bedroom house. Yeah, we'll pay your mortgage. Yeah, we'll pay your mortgage. Simple. Boom. Just don't buy a fucking $600 million home, because we won't be able to pay that off.
Affordable rent, guys.
Just quickly on the money topic. Why is money so hard to talk about in our island and Māori cultures? Like in regards to like just money in general. Like, like it's not something that is a main topic that's spoken about in our island and Pacific Island and Māori cultures. Is there a reason? Like, why do you reckon what do you reckon the reason is to why it's not, like, why it's a hard thing to talk about?
You guys go first. I feel like I can feel myself starting to mansplain.
Oh, can you explain what that is?
Just like over-explaining. I'm just now like
in the mood.
Yeah, no, I'm just like.
You
now,
go first, like, then. Go first.
Repeat the question.
So, like, why is it hard? Like, why is talking about money a hard thing to do in our Pacific Island and Māori culture?
One, it's been, well, the first obvious one to me is it's, for some reason, I don't know what the cultural thing behind it is, but it's, for some reason, it is like almost forbidden for us to talk about. Yeah. Or it feels like it is.
Yeah, why?
I actually don't like, because, I don't know if it's like some ancient, I don't know if there's like an ancient value in certain cultures that maybe like stops us from talking about it. But even another thing that I find hard around our culture is the fact that, like, families won't have food on the table, but they'll give their whole paycheck to the church. Like, I might get hate for saying that, but like that blows my mind. That's because facts. Like, it's like, bro, like, your kids aren't eating, your kids are going to school and like they're falling asleep because they have no energy to be in the classroom.
Mm.
and then they're not getting good grade. Like I think about all these things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, bro, we can't even acknowledge the fact that like another one for me that's really hard because it's I sit on the fence. Is like obviously when people die, it's hard. You got to get around your family,
Yeah.
but if you give everything you have, then you're pretty much making your own family suffer as well. So it's like I just feel like sometimes there's got to be a balance of some sort. Now this is maybe a bit selfish, but that's my honest opinion on it, and I stand by what I say and my convictions.
That's exactly like a Pacific Island, the wedding. Like some of the weddings that they have are so extravagant and so massive. Yeah, like I get it, it's a special day, but like, how much do they pay for it? Like they got families in that giving everything that they have.
I heard someone say like it's real common with island families is they take out loans, like and stuff like that, just to pay for all these things.
Like
like when you've seen how big islanders have events, and then I'm like, how do you pay for all this stuff?
Yeah,
and they're working, normal jobs, stuff like that. But then someone told me like, I can't remember who it was like, but a lot of these families take out loans just to pay for the stuff.
Like that's one thing I'll never get. Like when it comes to a wedding, like and I know I think differently. Like in regards to a wedding, is like, why do people pay to come to? Like why do I have to pay for people to come to my wedding?
I agree, to be honest. Like I'd rather elope and just go like
exactly.
10 people, but that's just me.
Like I understand, like to be honest with you, like when you talk about people like taking loans, I know that's facts. Like people will take out loans, people will go into debt just to pay for a day for their family and friends to come and enjoy, which is your special day, if that makes sense. So one thing that always blows my mind is like, why do I have to pay for people to come and come and see me get married, and then come and have a feed and celebrate with me when it's my special day?
Did you?
No, I eloped.
What's that?
Got married overseas.
Work smarter, not harder.
Smart.
Because like I know I think differently, and I know like some girls and even some men, like it's a big dream of theirs to get married in front of like all their family and friends, and that's fine. But like for me, like I know I think differently, and I stand like freedom. I stand by my words. It's like why is it like why are we putting these people in debt?
Yeah,
and it's their special day.
Yeah.
If anything, if you wanted to go to their wedding and they meant something to you, that's why I always like say to the people that go get married overseas.
Yeah.
The real people will come to your wedding.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you get married overseas
exactly,
and you're not close with that person, there's no way in hell you're going to pay for a thing over there. So I get why people go overseas and take their family and friends, because that's their real ones. But one thing I don't understand is like, why are we paying for people to come in and celebrate my special day or our special day? And the worst thing is when we do that is like there's people that don't even show up.
Yeah.
So you've paid per head. You get 200 people. You paid 200 people, and then you get people that don't even show up, and they don't even show like the respect of like you paying for them, literally paying for them.
At least I know when we get married, we're out of here. When we get married, we're having weddings away.
That's one thing I don't get in our like Pacific Island and Māori culture.
A question I have, and like I'm a bit ignorant in this space, but like in certain Polynesian cultures, is it expected that a certain side of the family has to pay for the wedding?
No.
Oh, okay. Imagine that pressure, bro. Because there would be in other cultures, eh?
Yeah, probably.
Like, bro, imagine that pressure, and then being, if it is on your side, imagine being in a place where you can't, like, and you have to take a loan.
I think
like
it's
things
in
like
those rich families overseas where the husband's family has to pay for it. I think it's like
Is it like arranged marriage?
Yeah, those arranged marriages with all like those rich people overseas.
What I know is like with the arranged marriages and in the rich families is like they try, obviously keep the rich with the rich.
Yeah.
So obviously you wouldn't be paying out of pocket if you couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
But like I know in the Pacific Island Māori cultures, no, it's not up to one side. I know it's on the thing of the couple, say the family of the couple. And depending on how traditional you want to keep it, I think it it comes down to
I got
the
a
families.
question for free.
What?
Since he's not a married man, would you trust your parents to organize a arranged marriage for you? Like knowing you, and like, you know, as their son, do you reckon you'd be able to like trust them with an arranged marriage for you? Like to pick out the girl? Be honest here.
Nah, bro.
Nah?
I love my mom. Like, I love my mom and dad, no? And we've actually had conversations not about this specifically. But, like, my mom, anyone who knows my mom, like, my mom's actually a good matchmaker.
Yeah.
I've seen her set some, like, people up that I was like, hey, and then they're married, like, a year later. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give my mom her flowers.
But you wouldn't.
Nah, you know what? I gotta be honest here. Like, I feel like every child, well, maybe not every child, but most children, there's if you don't have an extremely transparent relationship with your parents, there's like the side, there's the side of you that is authentic, and then there can be the side of you that you present to your parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very real thing. So based on, I feel like when I'm in my family home, I play a role.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily authentic freedom of alcohol, or I'm one of my parents' middle children. And I kind of revert into that role in the family. So they only see a certain side of me. Now, this is all mansplaining to my point, but like, I don't necessarily feel that anyone else who doesn't know the real me would be able to pick a partner for me, because they don't know the authentic me. They don't know what I need. They don't know what I look for. And maybe I haven't actually told them some of the things that I've gone through. So that's the reason for my. What about you?
What about this? Before you answer, you answer.
No,
What
you
about
go.
you? What about you? Would you trust your mum?
Yeah, I reckon I could.
That's good then.
I reckon I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this for both yous? Would you trust me and Birds to pick one for you, and would you trust me and Freedom to pick one for me and you?
No way! Hell to the no! Hell no!
Would you trust us, me and
Bro,
Birds, to
my
pick one for
answer
you?
was easy. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But also what I'll say is, because sometimes
I would trust him. I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you.
What have I told? What have I been telling the both of you lately?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust
What
you.
I've been telling you the both lately, D.
my reason for it though is like sometimes I wouldn't even know how I feel, and these guys will just like tell me something that like they'll just make an observation, and I'll be like, damn, these guys know me a bit better than myself. So like that's when you know you got real friends. Like when they're telling you things that you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Exactly.
Bro, like I just feel like that whole time. Like I would trust you, but in the back of my head, I'm like, these cunts are gonna stitch me up, bro. These cunts are gonna. I would have that play. I'd be like, nah, yeah, they got me. But in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, these cunts are gonna stitch me up.
If we had to be as real as possible, would you trust us?
Oh yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
you see the woman. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Oh shit.
Girl, sorry,
Bro,
girl.
Back to the first question. If anything, if I let my parents pick, I feel like I'd maybe ruin the girl's life. The poor Christian girl. She probably like been raised in the church, like good ass. Oh, anyway.
Nah. Hey, thank you very much, boys. What do you reckon?
Anything else to add?
You want anything else to add to that?
Nah.
Yeah, I reckon that's us.
You know that?
Yeah.
All right. There's been a roller coaster of emotions today.
But before we end this, the Tongan 8 Mile over here is going to finish
Nah,
off.
that's enough. Don't mock my clues.
Nah, anyways, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, like we always say, Fruit Chat time of the month. This is only our opinion and our take on the topics that we have. These are our views. You might have different views, but hey, that's okay. Don't be shy to message us or comment whatever you guys think. And give us your take on the views too.
Can we just can we just think that a bit more? Like, don't be afraid to message.
Yeah.
Especially if you think that we're wrong or if we're right or whatever it is, bro, reach out and because obviously like what Freedom says, it could educate us about what that lady had. What did you say with that lady? It had what? Like you had educated her rather than gone at her?
Informed
her. Like anything that we may have spoken of, and you feel like that you can inform us about something that maybe we had spoken about. Me personally, I'm all open to that. Like
Hard.
And that's only gonna make us better and more educated, and again see things more clearly, especially from a different point of view. But carry on.
Nice. Just what Sis said. Make sure you comment or message us. Just don't be shy, man. We're all here to get better and stuff like that. But
It's all love.
Yeah, hard. But we'll catch you in another month. A lot of people have been requesting we do this a bit more, but unless you sponsor us,
Exactly.
then you might get more. But until then, it's once a month. But now, thanks for tuning in. If you did listen, or if you did get this far, thanks for listening, and I'm sure we'll be back with more topics. And but before we end it.
Peace and love, fam.
Chat
Peace
time
and
of the
love.
month, over and out.
Put that on that beat. Nope.